at the program, everywhere you go in a society, and maybe it's been this way in every generation. I don't know,
Yeah.
but this is my generation now, who's the leaders of this society, my age group, right? And I hear a lot of my fellow Gen Xers saying, kids these days, and there's some negative connotation attached to kids these days. You'll never hear myself or any of my teammates at the program talk about kids these days. And the reason why is, and I'll just use one example that some of our clients have heard me use in the past. I use the example of Corey Ross, who's the president of the program corporate now. Corey was, I'll keep the story quick, but he was caught in an enemy ambush in northern Afghanistan, where his Humvee took a direct hit with a rocket-propelled grenade, an RPG. It blew the guy up next to him, just blew him up. Everybody else in the Humvee was knocked unconscious and sustained major injuries, except for the driver. Now, the driver had sustained incredibly traumatic injuries, but rather than deal with his own injuries, he just kept driving the Humvee out of the kill zone to ensure the safety of his teammates. The driver was 19 years old. So you're never going to hear me or any of my teammates talk about kids these days and somehow have negative connotations attached to it, because at 19, that's not my generation. That's not coaches' generations now. That's one of the kids these days, right? And whatever issues you see with one of quote unquote kids these days, yeah, it's not the fault of the kids these days. It's the fault of us, of parents, of coaches, of teachers. We're the ones responsible. I mean, think about the absolute silliness of hearing a parent talk about how their kid doesn't accept responsibility for anything. I mean, think about that. That's your greatest responsibility as a parent is your kid. And you're saying your kid doesn't take responsibility for his action. Well, your kid is your actions. I mean, that's just ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous to us at the program. And any issue that we see with, young people, as you just talked about, Coach, yeah, that's just, it's just a manifestation of our own generation as the parents, coaches, and teachers of them, right? Mm-hmm. Now, with all that said, so let me talk about some of the issues. When we work with teams, what we're shooting for is for coaches to say at the end of our training, man, I hired you guys to work with my team. And as good as it was for them, it was better for me and my staff. And that's exactly what we're shooting for, okay? Mm-hmm. Because let me tell you the limitations of the program. Nobody from the outside can change your culture. Nobody can. And the program can't either. We don't change cultures. What we can do is help reinforce the culture that coaches are trying to change or implement. That we can do. We can help them do so. But it's because of them. Scott Frost at Nebraska, formerly of UCF, they make at UCF, they make these great videos of their work with the program, and they give us a lot of credit and everything else. You will, we appreciate it. It's good for business. There's no doubt about it. But you're never going to hear us say it. You're never going to hear us take any responsibility or credit for it, because if we took the credit for that, we would have to take the blame for all the teams that go over. And we don't deserve either, okay? Where it starts when we work with coaches and with young people, I think first and foremost, there's a couple of basic rules I learned and that we learned at the program very early in our military career. First of all, The platoon commander is responsible for everything that happens or fails to happen in a unit. So ultimately, before any coach or team captain is pointing a finger, we got to make sure that before we're finger guys, we're thumb guys first, number one. Number two, don't ever ask your people to do something you're not willing to do yourself. Meaning, we talk about, well, kids are on their cell phones all the time nowadays. Really, I've got a 6-year-old son. When he and I go to the YMCA to go swimming and we're in the pool together swimming, and 5 minutes into it, I've got 14 kids hanging off of my arms as my son and I are wrestling in the pool. What is every other parent doing? They're sitting on the sideline looking at their phones, just banging away at their phones. And believe me, where I live, they're not all brain surgeons. They're not all heart doctors. Believe me, okay? They're not on call. So I think that when we work with coaches first, what we're trying to highlight is if Monday through Friday, we're trying to have perfect practices. So something starts going wrong and the coach immediately wants to jump in. No, stop this, stop. Yeah, but then on Saturday, the coach is stuck on the sideline and they can't do it. And then players have to figure it out. But if the coach has been doing it Monday through Friday, you've lost the right to expect some sort of magical performance out of your student leaders come Saturday afternoon or Friday night for your high school listeners here, right? So when we work with teams, Coach Walls, what we do, everything that we do is based on the idea that talent wins games on and off the field. But making a commitment to getting that much better, if you were to put your forefinger and thumb 2 inches apart, that much better allows us to compete for championships. The way you get that much better is by making a commitment to being better team leaders and better teammates. That's it. That's how you get that much better. Individuals, your talent allows us to do well. Individuals can win games. But great teams compete for championships. And great teams are comprised of great team leaders and great teammates. To us at the program, team leaders are held to 2 standards. Number 1, accomplish the mission. Number 2, take care of your teammates. What does it mean to take care of your teammates? It means make every decision you ever make thinking about the team's best interest at heart first, on and off the field. Great team leaders are held to 2 standards. Great teammates are held to 2 standards. A great teammate, before I talk about the 2 standards great teammates are held, let me share with you one that we do not hold great teammates or great team leaders to, but man, we hear it from Maine to SoCal to Florida to Oregon and everything in between. Everybody always wants to talk to us about this guy. And guy, I'm using the universal term guy, girl, women, man. This guy who gets bigger, faster, stronger in the off season. He gives 100% every single day in practice, and he goes full speed every snap of the football. But he's just kind of quiet. He doesn't say very much. He leads by example. We tell coaches across the country, we tell student athletes the same thing. Stop saying it. You're lying. It's a lie. It's a fallacy. You're doing your student athletes a disservice by telling them that that's what they're doing. They are not. That term has been watered down to mean nothing, not just in college and in high school athletics. That term has been watered down in American society to mean nothing now. Because giving 100%, getting as bigger, faster, stronger as you can in the off season, preparing as best you can, giving 100% every day and going full speed every snap of the football, that is not leading by example. To us at the program, that's doing your job, or more specifically, setting the example. And if you got a guy, girl, again, man, women, I'm sorry, it's the universal term, 40% of the teams with whom we work, female teams, by the way. But if you have a young man, a young woman who does do those things, absolutely, it's great that they do it, and I'll give them credit for doing so. But I'm not going to give them credit by telling them that they're leading by example. They're not. I'm going to give them credit by ensuring that they know that they're setting the example. And great teammates are held to 2 standards. And the first standard is you set the example on and off the field. But then great team teammates get held to a second standard. They first set the example, but then great teammates hold their teammates accountable to achieving it.